Hello everyone, my name is Misty Agee and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about how interactive video conferencing can be used to instruct students in a preschool through 12th grade environment. First of all, before I dig into the definition of interactive video conferencing, I'm going to mention that several times throughout this presentation, I will mention a short term for interactive video conferencing, and that's IVC. So if you hear me saying IVC, it stands for interactive video conferencing. The definition of interactive video conferencing is that IVC allows people in multiple locations to see and hear each other in real time using telecommunications technology. There are a variety of different ways to do interactive video conferencing, including the use of interactive television, telepresence systems, and desktop applications. So what do you need in order to IVC? Well, video conference systems can be installed in a classroom, or you can have something that is moved around the school building on mobile carts. I do have a perfect example of that in a coming slide. I have a picture of a mobile cart. The simplest explanation is that video conferencing really just involves a television, a microphone, and a camera that work together. And you also need to use a telephone or IP connection, or otherwise known as a internet connection. As for the cost, definitely cost is something that administrators look for when purchasing IVC technology for school and school districts. And the great news here is that IVC is relatively cost effective. You don't have to spend very much money at all on an IVC system, or you can spend an upwards of $20,000. Most of the people who do $20,000 for that, though, are not even school districts. They are companies or businesses that use this for meetings, and they need a very, very professional system set up in their company. So this is what I was telling you about in the previous slide, what IVC looks like. And this is a very engaging session you can see in an elementary school setting. And they are obviously learning about some American presidents for American history. And they are video conferencing on a mobile cart with a nice woman who is teaching them about that otherwise they would not be able to do that. They'd have a teacher teaching them in the classroom, and this is a great chance for them to get to interact that way with technology. So how can IVC be used? Well, in simplest terms, IVC offers an easy outlet for students to exchange ideas and learn from peers they normally couldn't reach to. It's wonderful for collaboration and expanding reach. Distance is no concern. You can talk to someone in the community or other cultures from different parts of the world. Travel expenses are non-existent. You don't have to spend money trying to get somewhere to talk to someone, and they don't have to spend money to come to you, which is a huge, huge thing. Definitely cost effective for districts to utilize this technology in the classroom. And there are limitless possibilities, which is a great, great thing. I looked up some examples on how it can be used in different subjects, and I found this information and also drew from some ideas of what I can do in my future classroom. For example, in a history class, you can have a guest speaker from a history museum. You can have a guest speaker from the Holocaust who shares his or her story, and the students ask questions afterward. You can have a guest speaker from the Smithsonian, and it's a museum that is really, really helpful. You can have guest speaker P. Allen Smith, who's on Channel 7 quite a bit during the spring and in the summer to tell you how to get your plants started and keep them going through spring and summer. and on horticulture, you can use that for science. You can have a guest speaker on the Caribbean island of Montserrat while a volcano is erupting. And I thought that this idea was really, really neat. It's something that definitely beats doing a baking soda and vinegar volcano in a classroom. You can just do that instead and have them ask questions to the experts in real time. You can use IVC for lectures and help from the same or other school districts P through 12. You can use it for distance learning, like for a math lecture. And it's also great for administrative uses that are involved in the classroom but not necessarily in a subject. And that is that you can, it's a great way to network with other educators for one thing, and you can offer office hours via IVC to discuss assignments, projects, and you can record lectures for later. You can do parent-teacher conferences too for parents who just absolutely cannot meet with you face-to-face. This is a great option. Or you can meet with administrators. Something I'm going to go into in my reflection a little bit later is how virtual Arkansas Zoom sessions every week happen at Arkansas high schools. And this is a great way that IVC is actually used in the school district that I work for. As for my reflection, I found out a lot of useful information. I found out that IVC is a vital tool that can be implemented in any P through 12 or college classroom globally, and it can be a wealth of information and help for both teachers and students alike. At the job I just left at the high school, going to the elementary school next year, I was the backup facilitator for Virtual Arkansas at Whitehall High School, which used this technique of IVC. And while I'm familiar with this particular aspect of IVC, I was eager to learn more about how it can be used in different ways in any classroom for different subjects. I first kept an open mind as to the information I would collect, and I started from the beginning with a clinical definition of interactive video conferencing from the Minnesota Educational Technology Networks. And then I built off of that definition to dig for more in-depth information for this project, like how cost-effective it was for districts, for example. And while there were many resources for this, it was mostly links to different software companies wanting me to request more information for buying the software. I did not want to do this, so I then focused on looking at what kind of equipment was needed. And I found out while my school district uses webcams, internet, and desktop computers, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are a wide variety of options, like cloud-based or hybrid options. And then in some cases, school districts have mobile carts that can be pushed room to room, like in slide 4. Next, I searched how IVC could be used in classrooms for both administrative purposes and teaching multiple subjects. And I found out that not only the things that I shared with you in previous slides about how it can be used in history and science and all of that, it can be used to connect students from different cultures, the chance to discuss and debate common issues and current events and video field trips. But it can also be used for in guest lectures and experts. And last, I looked if school districts did not have a computer interface, what equipment can be used. And it included bonus information about how IVC could be used in history to have a guest speaker from the Holocaust, like I mentioned, explain his or her story and have students ask questions. This website gave a very simple answer after all that is really required to video conference is a television, a video conference camera, and a connection to the internet. For administrative purposes outside of teaching, IVC can be used for video conferencing parents and administrators, to recording lectures, and a brainstorm with other educators. And last, all of the websites that I found were really reliable sources, and they deemed really helpful in finding the needed information for making sure that relevant and accurate information would be used in the making of this presentation and reflection paper. And I learned a lot in finding all of these resources. And my conclusion through all of this is finding that interactive video conferencing is useful and helpful in all classrooms P through 12 and in college, and can be used for virtually any subject. And I definitely hope to use IVC in my future fifth grade classroom next year and beyond. I will be at M.A. Hardin Elementary at the same district that I'm currently at this past year. And I really hope that you've learned quite a bit about IVC and how you can use it in your future classroom. I know I definitely have learned quite a bit, and I'm really looking forward to, like I said, using it in my classroom. I hope that you've enjoyed my presentation. This is my websites that I reviewed. I included my source on where I found that picture on slide 4 and 2 sources that I gathered my information from. Thank you.